Hello there, and welcome to Deep Space Sleep. I'm grateful you've chosen this quiet moment to rest, breathe, and drift alongside a gentler rhythm. Before there were clocks, cities, satellites, or even maps of the sky, our solar system was already moving in its patient, steady dance. Worlds circled the sun in slow, silent loops. Light streamed across empty space without a single sound. Dust, ice, rock, and gas drifted in calm currents, shaped only by gravity's soft pull, long before humans ever looked upward. This entire system breathed in a rhythm so steady and timeless that everything within it moved as if guided by an invisible lullaby. When we look at the solar system from afar, it appears vast and cold, but there is a quiet comfort in its stillness. Nothing rushes, nothing jolts. Every planet, every moon, every ring, every comet moves with unwavering smoothness. Even the sun, blazing with unimaginable energy, radiates into space in complete silence. It warms and illuminates without ever disturbing the calm around it. You and I are part of that gentle neighborhood. Earth drifts softly in its orbit, wrapped in a thin shell of air, carrying life through a cosmic landscape that has remained peaceful for billions of years. The same light that touches your face has traveled across millions of kilometers in a straight, steady line. The same pull of gravity that holds you now is the same force that guides planets through their long, graceful paths. As we explore 100 calming facts about this system we call home, let yourself settle into the slow pace of cosmic time. Let your breath follow the rhythm of drifting worlds. Let your thoughts loosen and spread out like starlight, crossing the quiet, dark. And if you'd like, feel free to share where you're listening from and what time it is. Others drifting into rest might find comfort, knowing they are part of the same quiet universe with you. For now, let your shoulders soften, let your breath deepen, and let the vast, gentle stillness of the solar system hold you. Let's begin. The solar system stretches across an immense expanse of space that is almost completely empty, creating a calm environment where distance itself becomes a source of quiet. Between planets lie millions of kilometers of stillness, with nothing to carry sound, no air to stir, and no wind to disturb the vastness. Objects drift far apart, leaving wide-open corridors of silence that feel more like gentle oceans of nothingness. This emptiness is not cold or harsh. It is soft in its own way, a spacious quiet that gives everything room to move without interruption. Light travels freely, gravity flows smoothly, and each world keeps to its path in peaceful isolation. The nearly perfect emptiness becomes a kind of cosmic cushion, allowing the entire system to breathe slowly and steadily without noise or resistance. Sunlight takes a little more than 8 minutes to travel from the sun to Earth, moving at the fastest speed in the universe, yet still needing time to cross the quiet space between us. This means the warm light that touches your skin is slightly older than the moment you feel it. Beginning its journey at the sun's surface and gliding silently across millions of kilometers, it arrives with no sound, no rush, and no interruption, carrying energy that has traveled through vacuum with perfect smoothness. The delay is gentle, almost poetic, reminding us that even light must cross vast space before reaching our world. This small pause gives the solar system a sense of soft distance, as if time stretches just enough to let light breathe before it arrives. The planets drift through their orbits in smooth, soundless paths, guided only by gravity's gentle pull. Each world moves with steady precision, never colliding, never rushing, never jerking from its course. Their motion is so constant and fluid that, from afar, they resemble beads gliding along invisible threads. Without air or friction to slow them, the planets continue endlessly, carrying their moons and rings with complete quiet. This smooth movement creates the impression of a slow cosmic dance, where every orbit is perfectly balanced and every world keeps a peaceful rhythm. The silence of space turns their motion into something serene, making each planet's journey around the sun feel effortless and calm. The emptiness surrounding the planets creates a sense of absolute quiet that is impossible to experience on Earth. With no atmosphere to carry sound, every movement happens in perfect silence. Even massive events, like a comet passing or a meteor breaking apart, unfold without a whisper. This quiet is ancient, stretching back billions of years, untouched by storms, winds, or echoes. It is a calm so deep that it becomes almost comforting, filling the solar system with a steady stillness. In this vast silence, light travels smoothly, shadows remain sharp, and the passage of time feels slower and more deliberate. The space between worlds becomes a wide, tranquil ocean where everything moves gently. Every object in the solar system follows the soft rhythm of gravity, a force that guides planets, moons, dust, and comets with quiet consistency. Gravity pulls without sound, without pressure, and without abruptness, shaping the orbits and paths of everything from the largest planet to the tiniest particle. This gentle influence acts like a silent conductor, ensuring that each world moves in harmony with the others. The balance it creates allows the solar system to function smoothly, with every object responding to the same slow, steady pull. This shared gravitational rhythm gives the whole system a feeling of unity and calm, as if all motion is part of one peaceful, ongoing pattern that has lasted since the beginning of time. Solar wind drifts outward from the sun like a soft mist, made not of water but of tiny charged particles, moving gently through the vast quiet of space. Though born from intense heat and energy, this flow spreads out in a calm, diffuse way, becoming thinner and softer the farther it travels. It carries no sound and moves without turbulence, filling the solar system with a faint, continuous breath of plasma. These particles glide between planets, shaping magnetic fields and creating subtle interactions that ripple quietly across space. Despite coming from the sun's powerful core, the solar wind behaves almost like a delicate vapor, drifting through the emptiness with a serene steadiness. It never rushes past planets, but washes over them in slow, gentle waves, reminding us that even powerful cosmic forces can move in peaceful, unhurried rhythms. The solar system has no sharp edge or solid boundary. Instead, it fades gradually into the wider galaxy, like a soft gradient as you move outward from the planets. The sun's influence becomes weaker, and particles drift farther apart until the environment feels almost indistinguishable from interstellar space. This transition is so smooth that no point marks a true border. Gravity, solar wind, and magnetic fields slowly diminish rather than stop, creating a gentle blending between our system and the vast expanse beyond. This absence of a rigid edge gives the solar system a peaceful, open feeling, as if it simply breathes into the galaxy rather than ends abruptly. The quiet fade from familiar space to deep space mirrors the gradual way light fades at twilight. Soft and subtle, cosmic dust scattered throughout the solar system reflects sunlight in a faint, shimmering glow known as zodiacal light. These tiny grains are remnants of comets, asteroids, and ancient collisions, floating gently in the emptiness. Though individually microscopic, together they create a soft, milky brightness that stretches across the sky under the right conditions. This glow is delicate and easily washed away by artificial light, which is why only the darkest nights reveal its true beauty. The dust itself drifts slowly, barely disturbed, forming a quiet veil that catches sunlight like a fine mist. It gives the solar system a subtle sparkle, not the brilliance of stars, but a muted radiance that feels calm and steady. This soft light reminds us that even the smallest particles can create beauty when they share the same gentle motion. The distances between planets are so vast that each world feels like a solitary traveler moving through a quiet, private space. Even the closest planets remain millions of kilometers apart, separated by enormous stretches of darkness and silence. This wide spacing creates a sense of cosmic solitude, where each planet follows its path without interruption. The emptiness between them feels peaceful rather than lonely, like a spacious landscape where nothing crowds or rushes. Because of these immense distances, the solar system moves in slow, graceful harmony, with no risk of worlds colliding or crossing each other's paths. The separation gives each planet room to breathe, drift, and exist in calm isolation. In that silence, space becomes a gentle canvas where movement happens unhurriedly. The sun acts like a quiet heartbeat for the entire solar system, sending out light and warmth in steady, unwavering pulses. Every planet, moon, and comet responds to this constant energy, orbiting in patterns shaped by the sun's gentle pull. Though the sun burns with incredible power, its influence across the solar system feels soft and consistent, like a steady rhythm guiding everything around it. This dependable flow of light creates cycles of day and night, warmth and cold, illumination and shadow. It provides a sense of order, a central anchor that never falters. The sun's presence is not loud or forceful, it is calm and predictable, offering stability that has lasted for billions of years. Its light becomes the quiet beat that holds the solar system together, setting the tempo for all cosmic motion. Outside the sun, no sound can travel at all, because space around it is a perfect vacuum. Even though the sun is full of churning plasma, rising currents, and shifting magnetic fields, none of these intense events produce any noise that could drift outward. Every swirl, flare, and eruption happens in absolute, undisturbed quiet. If you could somehow stand just above its surface, you would see towering loops of glowing gas and waves of energy moving with enormous power, yet you would not hear a single whisper. This silence gives the sun an unexpectedly peaceful presence, as though its immense activity is wrapped in a blanket of stillness. It shines, burns, pulses, and transforms matter into energy. But all of it unfolds without breaking the deep tranquility of surrounding space, making the sun feel like a calm, steady heart at the center of everything. Sunlight spreads outward evenly in every direction, filling space with a soft and steady glow that expands like an ever-growing bubble of light. There is no sound, no turbulence, no sense of rushing, only a gentle outward flow that illuminates billions of kilometers in silence. Every planet, comet, ring, and drifting piece of dust is touched by the same smooth stream of light. This even distribution creates a feeling of balance within the solar system, as though one warm presence quietly extends itself to all corners without preference. When sunlight meets a world, it becomes day, and when a world turns away, the light continues its journey without hesitation. This ongoing, quiet spreading of light shapes the rhythm of time, giving the solar system a calm, predictable heartbeat. Deep inside the sun, energy is created through nuclear fusion, but the process is far slower and calmer than most people imagine. A single photon born in the core may take thousands or even hundreds of thousands of years to escape the dense interior. It moves in tiny steps, bouncing, drifting, and wandering through layers of plasma so compact that progress becomes incredibly slow. By the time the energy reaches the surface and becomes sunlight, the violent motion of fusion has long since softened into a gentle glow. This slow transformation allows the sun to shine with remarkable steadiness. It does not flicker or flare wildly, but offers a dependable, peaceful light that has guided life on Earth for billions of years. Across the surface of the sun, bright bands and arcs of light drift like slow waves, shaped by magnetic fields rising and sinking through the plasma. These shifting patterns seem almost like breathing when observed over time, expanding and contracting in long, smooth motions. Because space transmits no sound, these movements appear even more tranquil, unfolding quietly. Despite their unimaginable energy, they sweep across the surface with the grace of soft ripples crossing water, giving the sun a gentle, rhythmic texture. Watching them feels like watching the slow pulse of something alive, something ancient and steady. Their motion adds a serene quality to the sun's appearance, reminding us that even a giant star can show a kind of cosmic softness. The plasma that makes up the sun flows continuously, forming rivers and currents of charged particles that twist and fold into ever-changing shapes. As this glowing material moves, it generates magnetic fields that stretch far into the solar system, influencing planets, comets, and space itself. Yet these powerful magnetic forces act without sound, forming and dissolving silently in the surrounding vacuum. Loops of magnetism arc upward, reconnect, and collapse in motions that seem both powerful and peaceful. This quiet behavior makes the sun's magnetic field feel like an invisible, gentle presence guiding the structure of space. Even though it shapes solar wind, protects planets, and fuels auroras, its actions remain soft, steady, and silent, contributing to the overall calm that fills the solar system. Mercury has no atmosphere to hold warmth, leaving its surface exposed directly to the sun's heat and the cold of space. Without air to trap temperature, the ground warms intensely under sunlight, but releases that heat instantly once darkness arrives. This absence of an insulating layer makes Mercury feel like a bare, silent stone drifting close to the sun. There is no wind, no sky glow, no soft haze, only raw, unfiltered sunlight during the long day, and deep, star-filled stillness during the long night. The silence becomes even more profound because nothing stirs the surface. No breezes move the dust. No clouds cross the horizon. And no weather softens the landscape. The planet exists in stark simplicity, shifting between extremes with complete quiet. Night on Mercury falls into a cold so deep it resembles the emptiness of space itself. Once the sun slips below the horizon, the heat absorbed by the surface disappears almost immediately, leaving temperatures to plunge to levels colder than some distant outer worlds. Because there is no atmosphere, this drop feels sudden and absolute, turning the planet into a still, dark, frozen landscape. Stars would shine with perfect clarity in a sky that never dims, and the silence would feel endless, uninterrupted by wind or motion. The long night, lasting many Earth days, gives Mercury a slow rhythm of warmth and freezing, each cycle unfolding quietly. This deep cold is not violent or harsh. Instead, it has a strange, peaceful quality, like the quiet of a desert under starlight, but magnified 1,000 times. Venus is wrapped in thick layers of cloud that soften the sunlight into a warm, golden glow. Even though the surface below is incredibly hot, the light that filters through the clouds feels gentle and diffused, bathing the planet in a muted yellow haze. These clouds reflect sunlight so effectively that Venus becomes one of the brightest objects in the sky as seen from Earth. The dense atmosphere spreads the light evenly, giving the world a calm, almost dreamy appearance from afar. Everything beneath the cloud decks is hidden, creating a sense of mystery and stillness. Instead of sharp shadows or harsh brightness, Venus glows with a steady, tranquil radiance, like a lantern covered in soft cloth. The surface of Venus is permanently veiled by a soft, hazy layer of acidic mist that prevents anyone from seeing the ground directly. This constant shroud diffuses light, erasing sharp lines and creating a world where everything fades into gentle blurriness. Though the conditions are harsh, the visual effect is strangely calm. The thick atmosphere dampens motion so strongly that winds sweep above the clouds far faster than anything moves near the ground. The slow, heavy air settles like a blanket, giving the landscape a muted stillness. The dim, filtered light makes the surface feel timeless, as if nothing changes quickly. This quiet, permanent mist gives Venus a unique softness despite its extreme environment. Mercury rotates so slowly that a single day there lasts longer than its year, creating long stretches of sunlight followed by equally long stretches of darkness. This slow turning gives the planet an almost meditative pace, with time unfolding gradually across its barren surface. Sunrises and sunsets take hours, stretching across the horizon in slow motion as shadows grow and shrink with unhurried grace. Because Mercury spins so leisurely, the transition between day and night feels like watching time itself slow down, with no atmosphere to carry sound or movement. This slow rotation enhances the sense of stillness. The rhythm of the planet becomes a gentle cycle of heat and cold, light and shadow, each lasting far longer than on Earth, giving Mercury a quiet, ancient quality as it drifts through space. Solar wind reaches Mercury's surface directly because the planet has almost no atmosphere or magnetic shielding to deflect it. These charged particles drift toward the ground like an invisible, whisper-quiet mist, touching the rocky surface without making a sound. On Earth, our atmosphere scatters and slows these particles, but Mercury is bare, exposed to the gentle but constant flow coming from the sun. The effect is not violent. Instead, it is surprisingly soft, more like a quiet brushing of energy than a forceful impact. Over time, This subtle interaction subtly alters the minerals on the surface, giving parts of Mercury a delicate, weathered tone created entirely through contact with solar particles. In the silence of space, this constant touch becomes part of the planet's identity, a steady interaction between star and stone that continues endlessly, shaping Mercury with a kind of slow, cosmic breath. Venus reflects sunlight more strongly than any other planet, giving it a brightness that stands out even in the deepest night sky. Its thick clouds, made of reflective droplets and swirling layers of haze, act like a vast mirror that bounces sunlight back into space. This reflection creates the soft, glowing appearance that makes Venus shine so brilliantly when viewed from Earth. Instead of sharp flashes or harsh glints, the light from Venus spreads in a smooth, steady way, producing a gentle radiance that feels almost serene. Its brightness is not aggressive, but soothing, a constant golden glow that has guided travelers and inspired stories for thousands of years. The planet's ability to reflect so much light gives it a calm, luminous presence in the sky, like a lantern drifting quietly through the darkness. The temperature on Venus remains almost perfectly stable across the entire planet, creating an environment as unchanging as a giant cosmic furnace. Unlike worlds where day and night produce dramatic shifts, Venus's thick atmosphere traps heat so effectively that temperatures barely vary. Even between sunlight and darkness, this thermal consistency gives the planet a strange sense of calm, a stillness created by uniform heat. The atmosphere acts like a blanket wrapped tightly around the surface, holding warmth and smoothing out fluctuations. Although the temperature is extremely high, its steadiness creates a quiet, predictable rhythm where nothing cools quickly, nothing warms abruptly, and everything remains suspended in a constant state of heat. From afar, this stability feels almost peaceful, like the soft glow of embers that never fade. Mercury and Venus move around the Sun in a paired rhythm, forming a kind of gentle duet among the inner planets. Their orbits create repeating patterns, passing each other in slow cycles that have continued for billions of years. Though they differ greatly in appearance and nature, their shared proximity to the Sun binds their motions into a quiet, synchronized dance. Mercury moves quickly in its tight orbit, while Venus leads more slowly, but their paths weave together in a way that feels harmonious. This orbital pairing gives the inner solar system a sense of order, as if these two worlds keep time near the Sun while the others follow farther behind. Their relationship is silent, predictable, and steady, reflecting the calm geometry of gravitational motion. Neither Mercury nor Venus has true wind in the way Earth does, because neither world has the kind of atmosphere needed to carry sound or create familiar breezes. Mercury is nearly airless, leaving no medium for wind at all, while Venus's atmosphere is so thick and heavy near the surface that any movement inside it feels more like slow shifting than flowing air. On Mercury, this creates a landscape of absolute stillness where nothing stirs the dust. On Venus, the thick atmosphere moves subtly, but its density muffles motion so strongly that even rapid winds high above translate into soft drifts near the ground. This absence of familiar wind adds to the quiet of both planets, giving them an otherworldly calm that contrasts sharply with Earth's ever-moving skies. Earth and the Moon move together like a gentle binary system, each influencing the other in a slow, graceful cycle. Even though Earth is much larger, the Moon's presence creates a shared motion, causing both bodies to orbit a common balance point deep within Earth. This subtle partnership forms a rhythm that has shaped our planet's behavior for billions of years. From the surface, it may look as if only the moon circles Earth, but in truth, both are dancing in harmony. Locked in a calm, gravitational connection, their shared movement is steady and predictable, unfolding in complete silence across the darkness of space. This quiet, balanced motion gives our sky a sense of stability and reassurance, as if the Earth-Moon duo moves in a soft, cosmic waltz that never breaks its tempo. The moon gently softens Earth's tilt, preventing the planet from wobbling too wildly as it spins. Without this steadying influence, Earth's climate would swing dramatically, shifting continents between extremes of heat and cold over short geological periods. Instead, the moon acts like a calm hand resting on a spinning top, keeping the axis stable enough for seasons to unfold in a predictable rhythm. This stability has allowed life to develop and flourish, giving Earth a long, steady climate rather than chaotic cycles. The effect is subtle yet deeply soothing, creating an underlying sense of order that shapes everything from long-term weather patterns to the balance of ecosystems. In this way, the moon becomes a quiet guardian, helping Earth maintain a gentle, livable balance. Earth's oceans rise and fall in slow, steady cycles that follow the moon's orbit like a quiet breath. As the moon pulls gently on the water, tides swell and retreat in a rhythm that has repeated for billions of years. This motion is not abrupt or forceful, it is soft, almost meditative, shaping coastlines and influencing marine life with a dependable pattern. Countless creatures rely on this lunar rhythm to feed, migrate, reproduce, or simply survive. The tides stretch across the entire planet, uniting distant shores in the same slow inhale and exhale. When observed from afar, the deep blue surfaces of Earth subtly shift with the moon's pull, creating a planetary heartbeat that feels calm and ancient. Sunrise and sunset fill the sky with soft colors because of the way sunlight scatters through Earth's atmosphere. As light travels through thicker layers of air during these times, shorter wavelengths like blue disperse outward, leaving behind the warm reds, oranges, and pinks that paint the horizon. This gentle filtering of sunlight creates a moment of natural softness, a transition between day and night that encourages the mind to slow down. Every morning and evening, the sky becomes a canvas of diffused light, blending colors in a smooth, calming gradient. These peaceful displays are reminders of the atmosphere's quiet role in shaping beauty, taking something as powerful as direct sunlight and transforming it into a soft, soothing glow. Earth's magnetic field surrounds the planet like an invisible blanket, shielding us from charged particles streaming through space. This protective field is constantly active, quietly deflecting solar wind and cosmic radiation without making a sound or drawing attention. It forms a bubble around our world that keeps the surface calm and stable, allowing life to thrive without the harsh effects of space weather. Though completely invisible, this field acts as one of Earth's gentlest guardians, wrapping the planet in a steady, unseen embrace. The magnetic field even guides particles toward the poles, creating auroras that glow softly in the night sky. Its presence brings a sense of safety and warmth, like a cosmic layer of comfort enveloping the Earth. Auroras are created when gentle streams of charged particles from the sun drift into Earth's magnetic field, and slowly spiral toward the poles, interacting softly with atoms in the upper atmosphere. Even though the process is rooted in energetic physics, the result is incredibly calm and graceful. The particles excite molecules of oxygen and nitrogen, causing them to glow in soft greens, pinks, and purples that ripple across the sky like quiet curtains of light. These glowing shapes move slowly, folding and unfolding in delicate waves that resemble breath rising in cold night air. No sound accompanies them. No vibration breaks the stillness. They are simply the visual whisper of space touching Earth. A silent ballet of particles that turns the upper sky into a drifting canvas of color. Soothing and ancient, the moon shines not because it produces light, but because it reflects the sun's glow in a softened, gentle form. Its dusty, pale surface scatters light in all directions, turning harsh sunlight into a calm, silver luminance that feels comforting rather than bright. This diffused glow spreads across oceans, mountains, and rooftops with a quiet touch, creating shadows that are softer and more patient than daytime ones. The light from the moon is steady and understated, never overwhelming the darkness, but blending with it in a peaceful balance. This makes the moon feel like a lantern in the night sky, offering just enough brightness to bring comfort while still allowing the world to rest. Night on Earth is never fully dark, because our planet receives light from many sources beyond the sun. The moon's glow softens the sky. Starlight scatters gently through the atmosphere, and even distant galaxies contribute faint threads of illumination. Air molecules and tiny particles reflect small amounts of light, giving the night a quiet blue or grey tint when viewed carefully. Clouds catch moonlight, snow reflects starlight, and the horizon often carries a subtle haze that keeps true darkness away. This natural, soft brightness makes the night feel more alive and comforting, preventing the world from ever sinking into complete shadow. The result is a gentle kind of darkness, still enough for rest, but illuminated enough to feel safe. Earth rotates with the steady precision of a natural clock, turning at a constant rate that shapes the rhythm of days and nights. This rotation is so smooth that we rarely notice its movement, yet it governs the rising and setting of the sun, the flow of shadows, and the balance of temperature across the globe. Every moment of daylight and every stretch of darkness is part of this quiet spinning motion that has remained stable for billions of years. The planet's smooth rotation gives life a sense of continuity, providing a dependable cycle that never rushes or falters. This gentle turning creates the calm pace of time on Earth, forming a predictable pattern that helps every form of life find its rhythm. The space surrounding Earth is completely silent, a vast region where sound cannot travel because there is no air or medium to carry vibrations. This silence wraps the planet like an invisible shell, isolating Earth's lively, noisy surface from the quiet of the cosmos. Even though satellites orbit, the solar wind flows, and millions of particles drift by, none of these motions produce any audible sound. From above the atmosphere, Earth appears suspended in serene stillness, rotating peacefully against a backdrop of star-filled darkness. This quiet boundary between Earth and space creates a calming contrast, a living world full of movement protected by a surrounding ocean of silence. The sky on Mars carries a gentle pink hue, created by fine dust suspended in its thin atmosphere. This dust scatters sunlight differently than Earth's air does, softening the sky into warm tones that range from peach to rose. especially during sunrise and sunset. The colors look delicate, as if the entire sky has been washed with a thin watercolor layer. Because the atmosphere is thin, the sky never becomes deeply blue. Instead, it stays softly tinted, giving the planet a dreamy, muted palette. This subtle coloring adds to the calm feeling of Mars, making its desert landscape appear peaceful and quiet beneath a pale, blushing sky. The soft pink glow is steady and unhurried, wrapping the entire world in a faint, gentle light. Winds on Mars move with such little force that they barely create any sensation at all. Because the atmosphere is about 1% as dense as Earth's planets, even gusts that would feel strong on our planet become soft whispers on Mars. Dust may drift or swirl, but it moves in silence, floating gently across the surface. The thin air cannot carry sound well, so even when the wind picks up speed, it remains quiet, more like the slow movement of breath than a true breeze. This silence adds to the peacefulness of the Martian environment, creating a world where motion appears without noise and landscapes shift without disturbance. Everything unfolds with a quiet restraint, making the planet feel calm and contemplative. A layer of fine red dust covers nearly every part of Mars, giving the planet its signature soft, muted color. This dust is incredibly small, ground down over ages by ancient volcanic activity and meteor impacts, until it forms particles as smooth as powdered clay. When sunlight touches the surface, the dust reflects warm tones that make the landscape feel gentle despite its rugged terrain. The covering softens sharp rock edges and makes hills and plains look velvety from a distance. Even though Mars is dry and barren, the dust adds a sense of warmth and softness. Like a thin blanket spread across the world, it moves slowly with the light winds, drifting in calm patterns that give the planet an appearance of quiet stillness. When viewed from the Martian surface, the Sun appears noticeably smaller than it does from Earth, almost like a distant, softly glowing disk. Its light remains warm, but it arrives with less intensity, creating a gentler form of daylight that casts long, soft shadows across the red terrain. The smaller Sun gives Mars a sense of vast distance from the center of the solar system, enhancing the feeling of quiet solitude that defines the planet. Sunsets and sunrises are particularly soothing, with the small solar disk filtering through dust-filled air to produce a cool bluish glow at the horizon. This combination of a small sun and muted colors creates a calm atmosphere, making the Martian sky feel peaceful and introspective. Mars warms and cools slowly because its atmosphere is too thin to trap heat or distribute it quickly. During the day, sunlight gently warms the surface, but the process is gradual, creating a slow rise in temperature. At night, the heat is released just as slowly, allowing the ground to cool in a long, gentle decline rather than a sharp drop. This creates a rhythm of temperature that feels patient and unhurried, like the slow breathing of a sleeping world. The thin air cannot rush warmth across the landscape, so each region changes at its own quiet pace. This steady thermal behavior adds to the calm nature of Mars, giving it a peaceful, measured cycle of warmth and cold that unfolds softly with each Martian day. The sand dunes on Mars shift so slowly that their movement becomes almost imperceptible across human timescales. Because the atmosphere is thin and the winds carry very little force, grains of sand drift only under rare conditions, moving in gentle, gradual patterns over years or even decades. Dunes may shift a few meters, giving the landscape a feeling of deep stillness. This slow motion creates a sense of permanence, as if the dunes are resting in place while quietly adjusting themselves in tiny increments. From orbit, scientists can see these subtle changes, like the slow breathing of a desert world. On the surface, however, the dunes appear frozen in time, shaped by whisper-soft winds that sculpt them with infinite patience. Their calm, gradual motion adds to the quiet serenity of Mars, reinforcing its identity as a tranquil red desert. Val Marineris, one of the largest canyons in the solar system, stretches across Mars in silent grandeur. Despite its immense scale, far deeper and longer than Earth's Grand Canyon, it remains completely quiet, with no wind strong enough to echo through its vast corridors. The thin atmosphere prevents sound from traveling far, so even falling rocks or shifting dust would produce barely any audible noise. The canyon's walls rise sharply, carved by ancient forces that have long since faded, leaving behind a landscape that feels timeless and undisturbed. Standing within such a place would feel like being inside a giant, peaceful hollow carved out of the planet itself. Light filters gently across its ridges, and shadows stretch slowly, giving Valles Marineris an atmosphere of profound stillness and ancient calm. Phobos and Deimos, the two small moons of Mars, cast delicate shadows across the surface, far softer than the bold, defined shadows created by Earth's moon. Because these moons are tiny and irregularly shaped, their silhouettes move lightly over the landscape, sometimes appearing as faint dimmings of daylight rather than solid dark patches. The thin atmosphere further softens their shadows, blurring the edges until they look like subtle brushstrokes passing over the red ground. Their quick orbits create gentle, fleeting moments of shade, adding to the quiet character of Mars. These soft shadows feel more like passing whispers than dramatic eclipses, contributing to the planet's calm and dreamlike visual environment. Sunrise on Mars brings a soft blue glow that contrasts beautifully with the warm red of the landscape. As sunlight passes through fine dust suspended in the thin atmosphere, the shorter blue wavelengths scatter directly toward the observer, creating a delicate, cool halo around the rising sun. This effect is the opposite of Earth's red sunrise, giving Mars a unique and calming color palette. The blue tint appears briefly, growing gently as the sun lifts above the horizon, and then fading as daylight fills the sky with pale pinks and muted gold. This gentle transition creates a soothing sense of quiet morning light, as if the planet awakens slowly under a peaceful, ethereal glow that mirrors its serene desert nature. From a distance, and even up close, Mars looks like a world asleep beneath a blanket of red dust, its vast plains and silent dunes giving the impression of a planet in deep rest. The absence of strong winds, rushing water, or active weather systems makes the surface feel frozen in time, as if the landscape has paused for ages. Soft sunlight, filtered through the dusty sky, adds to this tranquil atmosphere by casting warm, gentle tones across its rocky terrain. The long, slow Martian days and the cool, patient nights create a rhythm that feels quiet and meditative. Everything about the planet moves at an unhurried pace, making Mars resemble a sleeping desert world drifting calmly through space. Wrapped in ancient stillness, Jupiter is so massive that its gentle gravitational pull quietly shapes the orbits of countless smaller objects around it. Asteroids, comets, and fragments of ancient rock adjust their paths in response to Jupiter's steady presence, moving in loops and arcs that have remained stable for millions of years. This influence does not feel forceful. Instead, it resembles a calm, guiding hand that keeps the outer solar system organized. Even the asteroid belt maintains much of its structure because Jupiter's gravity nudges objects into safe, repeating patterns. The planet's immense mass creates a sense of cosmic stability, as though Jupiter is a silent guardian, ensuring that the delicate balance of space remains undisturbed. Its presence adds a quiet rhythm to the solar system, shaping motion with calm, predictable strength. The cloud bands of Jupiter sweep around the planet in smooth, uninterrupted flows, creating patterns that move like soft currents on a vast ocean of gas. These streaks of white, beige, and muted red glide past one another with hypnotic grace, driven by deep atmospheric currents that loop around the entire world. From afar, the movement looks serene. Even though the winds themselves are fast, the gas layers blend and shift without sharp edges, forming long ribbons that wrap the planet in calm, swirling textures. Because there is no solid surface to disrupt them, the clouds flow in continuous, fluid lines, giving Jupiter an appearance of endless motion that remains soft and soothing to watch. The result is a giant world wrapped in gentle, swirling fabrics of color. Saturn's rings appear as a luminous, delicate band encircling the planet, made of countless pieces of ice and rock so small and reflective that they resemble floating grains of powdered stone. Sunlight scatters off these particles, creating a shimmering halo that looks almost soft despite its immense scale. From a distance, the rings seem smooth, like a painter's stroke of pale silver laid gently across the darkness of space. Their brightness and clarity make Saturn feel serene and ethereal, as though it wears a veil made of icy stardust. The rings' fine texture gives them a dreamlike appearance, turning the planet into one of the solar system's most calming sights. Watching them is like watching frost glitter beneath soft morning light. The rings of Saturn, despite their vast size, move with almost no audible disturbance because space is a perfect vacuum. The billions of particles that make up the rings collide, drift, and realign in complete silence. Their motion forms a quiet ballet of ice and dust, each fragment following orbital paths that adjust gently over time. These particles behave like a soft river of frozen light flowing around the planet, continuously rearranging themselves without breaking the stillness of space. This silent movement gives the rings a tranquil presence, as though they are suspended in place while subtly shifting in slow, graceful currents. Their quiet dance adds to Saturn's serene personality, making it one of the most peaceful worlds in the solar system. Uranus rotates on its side, giving it a unique, tilted rhythm unlike any other planet. Instead of spinning upright like Earth or Mars, Uranus rolls through space like a softly turning sphere resting on its edge. This sideways motion creates seasons that last decades, with sunlight drifting across its pale blue atmosphere in long, gentle sweeps. The tilt also alters how its winds and clouds circulate, producing subtle, smooth patterns that move differently from those on any other giant world. The planet's unusual orientation gives it a quiet, dreamlike character, as if it moves through the solar system with a slow, thoughtful sway. This graceful tilt makes Uranus feel like a world drifting in its own peaceful rhythm. Unhurried and distinct, Neptune glows with a soothing blue color that resembles the calm depths of an underwater world. This gentle shade comes from methane in its atmosphere, which absorbs red light and leaves behind cool blue tones that spread softly across the planet. From afar, Neptune looks like a quiet, distant drop of ocean drifting through space, its surface wrapped in layers of serene, shifting hues. Despite being a giant world filled with motion, its color gives it a tranquil presence, as if it carries the stillness of deep water. The blue appears smooth and uniform, creating a sense of quiet harmony in the cold outer reaches of the solar system. This soft glow feels peaceful and comforting, like a tiny oasis of color surrounded by vast darkness. Storms on the gas giants move with immense power, yet they unfold in complete silence because the surrounding space cannot carry sound. Vast vortexes swirl across Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, stretching thousands of kilometers. But their motion appears gentle from afar. The clouds rise and fall in smooth spirals, merging and separating with a fluid grace that resembles slow-moving ink in water. Even their largest storms maintain rounded shapes and soft edges, giving the impression of calm rotation rather than violence. This visual quietness transforms turbulence into something serene, allowing the storms to appear like soft, whirling patterns drifting over giant planets. Their silence enhances the feeling that these worlds move in slow, meditative rhythms. The large moons orbiting the gas giants drift around their planets in smooth, almost weightless paths, creating a sense of calm motion throughout these distant systems. Worlds like Ganymede, Titan, Europa, and Triton glide in gentle arcs shaped by gravity's soft pull, never rushing or colliding. Their orbits are steady and predictable, forming patterns that unfold with quiet precision. As they reflect faint sunlight or cast soft shadows on their parent planets, these moons add a delicate choreography to the giant worlds. Their graceful movement resembles slow dancers circling a central lantern, contributing to an atmosphere of peaceful harmony. Watching their orbits gives the impression of a serene, celestial waltz that has continued for billions of years. Sunlight reaching the outer planets is faint but evenly spread, arriving as a soft glow rather than a bright beam. This gentle light travels enormous distances before touching the clouds of Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, losing intensity but not its steadiness. The result is illumination that feels calm and muted. Washing over the gas giants in pale tones, shadows become softer, colors deepen into cooler shades, and everything appears wrapped in a subtle haze of distant sunlight. This diffused brightness enhances the peaceful appearance of the outer solar system, making its landscapes look dreamy and quiet. Even though the sun is far away, its steady, delicate glow maintains a sense of connection and warmth across billions of kilometers. The dense, layered atmospheres of the gas giants create the impression of vast oceans made entirely of swirling gas. As clouds stack upon one another in thick tiers, they move with a slow, rolling motion reminiscent of waves on deep water. Each layer drifts gently above the next, forming a fluid world without solid ground. This gives the planets a soft, immersive feel, as though they are colossal spheres of floating currents. The movement within these layers is continuous yet calming, lacking the abrupt shifts seen on rocky planets. This atmospheric depth contributes to the serene identity of the gas giants, making them appear like drifting, gaseous seas suspended in the cold quiet of space. Pluto's sky carries a faint bluish haze created by tiny particles suspended high in its thin atmosphere. When sunlight filters through these particles, it scatters into soft, cool tones that wrap the dwarf planet in a gentle, dreamy glow. The sky is not the deep blue of Earth. Instead, it is a delicate, misty color that feels almost otherworldly, like the soft shimmer of twilight frozen in place. This hazy quality gives Pluto an air of quiet mystery, enhancing the sense that it drifts far from the warmth and brightness of the sun. In the distant dark of the outer solar system, this muted blue sky feels peaceful and calm, embracing the dwarf planet with an atmosphere as subtle as breath on cold glass. Sunlight on Pluto arrives with the faintness of a faraway lamp glowing across a vast room. Even though the sun is the same star that warms Earth, its light reaches Pluto weakened by enormous distance, dimming into a gentle, silvery illumination. Yet it is still bright enough to cast soft shadows and create a serene, subdued day. The faintness of this light gives Pluto a tranquil, hushed quality, as if daylight there is permanently set to a low, soothing level. The world glows quietly beneath this distant radiance, wrapped in a calm half-light that feels patient and unhurried. It is neither harsh nor dark, but a perfect middle tone where everything appears softened by distance. The Kuiper Belt is a vast, frozen frontier filled with thousands of small, icy bodies drifting peacefully in the cold, far beyond Neptune. These objects move through space with incredibly slow grace, following ancient orbits that have remained unchanged for billions of years. The region feels like a cosmic archive, a quiet collection of worlds that never formed into planets, but instead settled into a calm, scattered community. Because of the great distance from the sun, everything in the Kuiper Belt moves slowly, touched only by faint sunlight and the soft pull of gravity. It is a region defined by stillness, where icy fragments drift like suspended snowflakes, giving the outer solar system a dreamy, tranquil boundary. Frozen nitrogen on Pluto's surface reflects sunlight with a smooth, white shimmer that gives the planet a clean, polished appearance. This frost acts like a natural mirror, scattering light gently in all directions and brightening the landscape with a delicate glow. The brightness is not intense. Instead, it is soft and diffuse, creating an effect similar to fresh snow under a pale winter sun. This reflective frost enhances Pluto's calm, icy beauty, making its surface feel peaceful and pure. When the faint sunlight touches the nitrogen ice, it glimmers subtly, adding a serene shimmer to the dwarf planet's frozen plains and rolling hills. Objects in the distant reaches of the solar system rotate very slowly, completing one spin over the course of many hours or even days. The great distance from the sun means there is little energy to drive fast rotation or turbulence. As a result, dwarf planets, icy bodies, and Kuiper Belt objects turn with a kind of quiet patience, as if time moves differently there. Their slow spin adds to the peaceful character of the outer regions, giving each world a gentle rhythm of day and night that unfolds with unhurried calm. This measured rotation creates long, lingering shadows and gradual transitions between light and dark, reinforcing the dreamy stillness of these faraway worlds. Pluto holds a bright, heart-shaped region made of frozen nitrogen ice, a gentle symbol etched across its surface like a quiet signature in the deep cold of space. This bright heart reflects sunlight softly, creating a smooth, glowing patch that stands out against the darker terrain around it. Its icy plains stretch in calm, unbroken expanses, with textures so subtle that they seem almost polished. Even though it lies billions of kilometers from the sun, this frozen heart glimmers faintly, offering a soft contrast to the surrounding shadows. The shape feels peaceful, almost tender, as if Pluto carries an emblem of quiet emotion in the vast darkness of the Kuiper belt. The far reaches of the solar system change so slowly that they appear frozen in time. Objects drift along their ancient orbits with little disturbance, and sunlight arrives too faintly to cause rapid transformation. Craters, ice patches, and dusty ridges can remain untouched for millions of years, preserved in the stillness of near-perfect cold. Even space itself seems calmer there, with fewer collisions, fewer gravitational shifts, and fewer energetic events. The environment feels like a silent museum of early solar system history, where everything remains suspended in slow motion. This timeless quality gives the outer edge a serene, dreamlike atmosphere, as if time stretches and softens the farther you travel from the sun. The small moons orbiting distant dwarf planets often rotate in unusual, tumbling motions, yet their movement remains gentle and quiet. Without thick atmospheres or strong tidal forces to stabilize them, these moons turn slowly and unpredictably, like pebbles drifting in a shallow current. Their irregular shapes and low gravity create rotations that feel more like drifting than spinning. Despite their chaotic paths, the overall impression is one of softness, because everything happens in silence and at a slow pace. These moons circle their parent worlds in calm arcs, never rushing, never producing noise, adding to the peaceful, delicate choreography of the outer solar system. Temperatures near the edge of the solar system remain almost constant, locked in steady cold that barely changes from year to year. Sunlight arrives too faintly to warm the surface significantly, and the vacuum of space prevents heat from moving quickly. As a result, these remote worlds experience a stable, unhurried climate where ice remains unmelted and landscapes stay preserved across deep time. The consistency of this cold gives the region a tranquil, predictable character, as though everything is resting beneath a soft, unchanging veil of frost. This near-constant temperature reinforces the feeling that the outer solar system is a place of quiet endurance and peaceful stillness. Absolute silence envelops the Kuiper belt, stretching across billions of kilometers where no atmosphere exists to carry sound. Even when objects collide, fracture, or drift past one another, the events unfold without any audible trace. This deep quiet wraps the entire region in a sense of profound stillness. Particles of ice move like slow, silent snowflakes suspended in space, and dwarf planets glide through darkness without creating even the faintest whisper. The lack of sound amplifies the serenity of the environment, turning the Kuiper belt into one of the most peaceful places in our solar system. A vast realm where everything moves in calm, endless quiet. When a comet approaches the sun, it forms a glowing tail that drifts behind it like a soft ribbon of light. This tail is made of dust and gas gently pushed away by sunlight, creating a delicate stream that stretches for millions of kilometers. From afar, it looks almost weightless, shimmering like silk floating through space. The tail does not whip or twist violently. Instead, it unfurls slowly as the comet moves along its ancient path. Even though comets travel fast, the tail's glow remains calm and steady, giving the impression of a quiet traveler leaving a luminous trace behind. This gentle trail becomes one of the most serene sights in the solar system, a silent band of light marking the comet's passage through the dark. Cosmic dust scattered throughout the inner solar system creates a faint, soothing glow called zodiacal light. This light is so soft that it appears only on the darkest mornings or evenings, forming a pale, triangular shimmer rising from the horizon. The dust grains are tiny, drifting slowly through space like suspended particles of mist. When sunlight touches them, they glow gently, never bright, never harsh, just a quiet illumination that adds a subtle texture to the night sky. The effect feels like the softest possible reflection, a whisper of brightness fading smoothly into darkness. This zodiacal glow connects the planets with a delicate veil of light, reminding us of the gentle beauty hidden in even the smallest fragments of our solar system. The icy material in comets evaporates extremely slowly as they approach the sun, rather than melting quickly. The frozen gases warm in tiny increments, releasing faint streams of vapor that drift peacefully into space. This gradual process allows comets to maintain their shape for countless orbits, losing only a thin layer of ice each cycle. Because evaporation is slow and silent, the comet's transformation feels calm and unhurried, like frost warming under a distant morning sun. This slow release of vapor forms the glowing coma and the beginnings of the tail, both of which expand gently around the comet. The entire process feels serene, a quiet interaction between cold ice and soft sunlight. A comet's dust tail and gas tail always point away from the sun, following the gentle push of solar radiation and charged particles. No matter which direction the comet travels, its tails drift outward like two soft streams being guided by invisible hands. The dust tail, broader and more muted, glows with a warm, hazel light, while the gas tail shines more sharply in cooler tones. Both stretch into space with a calm steadiness, never curling forward or reversing direction. This simple, elegant rule creates a sense of order in comet motion, giving each one a predictable, peaceful geometry. The symmetry of the tails makes every comet feel like a drifting lantern, glowing quietly as it moves across the deep dark. The orbit of a comet is incredibly long, sometimes taking hundreds or even thousands of years to complete a single trip around the sun. These wide, looping paths resemble slow-motion cycles, like a cosmic sleep rhythm repeated across millennia. A comet spends most of its time in the cold, silent outskirts of the solar system, drifting through darkness before gently returning to the inner regions. This long, patient journey gives comets a serene identity. They appear briefly, glow softly, and then slip back into the vast quiet for ages. Their orbits feel dreamlike, as if they move in one long, unbroken breath through space. Small meteors entering Earth's atmosphere burn with a gentle, quiet glow, creating soft streaks of light that drift across the sky. Even though they move quickly, the thin air at high altitude causes them to heat gradually, producing smooth trails that fade as delicately as candle smoke. These tiny meteors are often no larger than grains of sand, yet their descent creates one of the most calming sights in the night sky. Their light is brief but elegant, appearing without thunder or sound. Instead of dramatic flashes, they shimmer softly, breaking apart into glowing dust before vanishing into darkness. This peaceful transformation turns falling space debris into tiny luminous whispers, reminding us that even the smallest fragments of the cosmos can create beauty as they move through the atmosphere. Cosmic dust constantly drifts down to Earth, settling on the surface in a slow, steady rain that continues day and night. These particles are incredibly small, so light and soft that they fall without being noticed, arriving like invisible snowflakes from space. Each day, Earth gathers tons of this gentle dust, yet the particles are so delicate that their descent never disrupts the air or creates any sound. This quiet accumulation connects our planet to the rest of the solar system, carrying traces of ancient comets, asteroids, and distant collisions over millions of years. This cosmic dust becomes part of soils, seas, and even the air we breathe, arriving with a calm subtlety that reflects the peaceful motion of space itself. The space between planets contains a faint haze of dust, creating a delicate mist that fills the solar system with a soft, unseen texture. These tiny particles drift in slow motion, distributed lightly across billions of kilometers. They are too sparse to form clouds and too fine to block light, but together they add a quiet softness to the vast void. Sunlight passing through this dust becomes slightly diffused, giving certain regions a gentle glow. The presence of this cosmic haze makes the solar system feel less empty, as though a thin layer of floating stardust connects each world. This subtle dust mist moves patiently, changing only over long spans of time, adding to the peaceful stillness between planets. Dust clouds in the solar system reflect light very faintly, creating some of the softest, most barely perceptible glows in the cosmos. These clouds are made of extremely fine particles that scatter sunlight in gentle, muted ways, producing illumination that is almost ghost-like in its delicacy. Instead of shining brightly, the light appears as a faint sheen, a soft veil that blends smoothly into the surrounding darkness. This weak reflection makes the dust clouds feel quiet and serene, emphasizing their fragile presence. They do not sparkle or shimmer dramatically. They glow just enough to hint at their existence. This understated lighting adds a subtle beauty to the solar system, reminding us that not all brightness comes in brilliant bursts. Sometimes it appears in calm, whisper-soft tones. Comets move through the solar system in long, slow cycles that resemble a deep, cosmic breath. They drift inward from cold to distant regions, glow softly as they near the sun, and then retreat back into darkness for centuries. This rhythm gives each comet a peaceful, almost meditative presence, as if its journey is guided by the slow pulse of the solar system itself. Their appearances are brief, gentle moments of brightness, followed by long stretches of quiet travel. When they depart, they leave behind faint trails of dust that gradually fade, like exhaled breath dissolving into cool air. The pattern feels timeless and steady, a soft rise and fall that mirrors the natural rhythms found throughout the cosmos. Light takes time to cross the empty spaces of the solar system, traveling at the fastest speed known, yet still needing moments to journey from one world to another. This delay is gentle and natural, giving the cosmos a soft sense of pacing. When sunlight leaves the sun, it glides through the vacuum without resistance, moving silently until it touches a planet, a moon, or a drifting grain of dust. Even the light from distant planets reaches our eyes after a subtle pause, carrying with it the quiet history of its travel. This gentle passage of light makes space feel vast but also peaceful, as though every beam moves with calm purpose across an immense, silent ocean. The time light takes is a reminder that even the universe's fastest messenger works in smooth, serene rhythms. Sound cannot travel in the vacuum of space, leaving the solar system wrapped in an ocean of perfect silence, with no air molecules to carry vibrations. Even the most powerful events, meteor strikes, solar flares, volcanic eruptions on distant moons unfold without making a single audible whisper. Worlds spin, Sturmswill, rings collide, and comets pass by. Yet none of this is ever heard. This absence of sound gives space a dreamlike quality, as if everything is happening in slow motion. It also creates a soothing contrast with Earth, where noise never fully stops. In space, silence becomes a natural state, a soft background that allows motion to appear even more graceful. Time flows differently across the solar system, stretching or compressing depending on speed and gravity. Near massive planets, time passes slightly slower, while in distant, low-gravity regions it flows a little faster. Though the differences are tiny, they reveal a universe where the rhythm of existence is not uniform, but softly bending and shifting. This creates a quiet, poetic sense that each world experiences time in its own gentle way. A clock near Jupiter would tick a little more slowly than one near Pluto, yet both would move steadily, calmly, without disruption. This subtle variation adds to the peaceful character of space, where time itself moves with a soft, fluid grace. The light shining from planets changes so gradually that the shift is almost imperceptible. As worlds move along their orbits, the angle of sunlight adjusts slowly, altering colors and brightness in delicate increments. From Earth, the glowing points of light, representing distant planets, brighten or fade over long stretches of time, never flickering or shifting abruptly. These soft changes create a sense of cosmic patience, as if the planets prefer to express themselves through slow, measured transitions. The gentle evolution of their illumination enhances the tranquility of the night sky, offering quiet reassurance that celestial motions unfold with dependable calm. When planets cast shadows on one another during distant alignments, the darkness slides across surfaces in smooth, silent motions, like thin layers of mist passing over the ground. These shadows do not fall harshly, they drift slowly, following the graceful movements of worlds along their orbits. During eclipses or transits, the shadowed regions appear as soft, creeping shapes that move with careful precision. Watching them from afar gives the impression of a calm, celestial choreography, where each shadow glides like a quiet breath across another world. This gentle slipping of darkness across light is one of the most serene phenomena in the solar system, a reminder of the silent harmony that governs everything in space. Silence in space is absolute, deeper than anything we can experience on Earth. With no air, no wind, no molecules to carry vibration. Every motion happens without a single sound. Worlds spin, comets glide, dust drifts, storms swirl, yet none of these movements create even the faintest murmur. It is a silence so complete that it feels almost alive, filling the void with a calm that stretches endlessly in every direction. This perfect quiet gives the solar system a dreamlike stillness, as if everything exists within a peaceful pause. The absence of noise softens even the most energetic events, turning explosions, collisions, and stellar winds into silent light shows. In this quiet, the universe feels gentle, unhurried, and fast, a place where calm is woven into the very structure of existence. Distance in the solar system is so great that it gives the impression of time slowing down. When objects are separated by millions or billions of kilometers, their movements appear incredibly gradual, like slow gliding lines across a silent canvas. Light takes long moments to travel between worlds, and orbits stretch across years or centuries. These vast separations create a sense of stillness, as if everything is suspended in a soft, extended moment. Even fast-moving spacecraft seem to drift, their speed diminished by the immensity around them. This illusion of time freezing is not harsh but tranquil, offering a peaceful reminder that scale shapes perception. In the quiet of deep space, distance becomes a gentle cushion that slows the universe into a calm, steady rhythm. Many objects in the solar system spin quietly in regions where sunlight barely reaches, turning slowly within near-eternal darkness. Dwarf planets, icy moons, scattered rocks, and distant comets rotate in shadowed realms where light arrives only as a faint whisper. Their surfaces remain cold and untouched, preserved by silence and isolation. These bodies continue their rotations with patient consistency, experiencing long nights that last years or even centuries. The darkness around them does not feel threatening. Instead, it feels soft and still, like an endless twilight. Their slow spins create a subtle choreography in the outer reaches of the solar system, a quiet dance carried out in the gentlest possible conditions. Energy in space travels through invisible waves that make no sound at all, whether it is sunlight gliding through emptiness, radio waves drifting between planets, or magnetic fields sweeping across vast regions. All these interactions occur silently. Waves pass through each other without noise, carrying information and warmth in complete calm. This silent flow of energy is one of the universe's most soothing qualities, transforming the solar system into a place where even powerful forces behave with quiet respect. The lack of sound makes these waves feel like gentle currents in a perfectly still ocean, moving steadily and peacefully from one point to another. The entire solar system orbits the center of the Milky Way in a smooth, almost imperceptible motion that feels like a soft drift through the galaxy. Despite traveling at immense speed, this motion feels gentle because of the vast distance involved. Every planet, moon, comet, and rock joins this grand rotation, moving together as part of a single, harmonious system. There is no shaking, no turbulence, only a calm glide through the star-filled dark, like a boat drifting on a glassy sea. This slow circling of the galaxy gives the solar system a sense of belonging, a quiet journey that has lasted for billions of years and will continue for billions more. The planets drift around the sun like a quiet family traveling together through space, each following its own gentle path, while remaining connected by the same gravitational harmony. They never collide or disrupt one another. Instead, they glide in calm, predictable orbits that have held for billions of years. This peaceful arrangement creates a feeling of togetherness, as though each world moves with awareness of the others, maintaining balance through silent cooperation. From Mercury's swift loops to Neptune's vast, slow arc. Each planet contributes to a serene cosmic rhythm. Their steady motion around the Sun feels like a slow, graceful dance, a shared journey through the galaxy that unfolds without haste or noise. The asteroid belt resembles a field of softly glowing dust suspended in space, even though it is made of countless rocky fragments. Seen from afar, the scattered pieces reflect sunlight gently, creating a faint, shimmering band that looks more like drifting powder than a collection of solid objects. The wide gaps between these asteroids give the region a peaceful emptiness, and their slow movements add to its tranquil appearance. Rather than appearing chaotic, the belt feels quiet and delicate, like a cloud of ancient starlight resting between Mars and Jupiter. This calm, sleeping brightness makes the asteroid belt one of the most serene neighborhoods in the solar system. At the center of the solar system, the Sun acts as a soft, constant source of light that radiates with a steady glow. Even though its energy is immense, distance transforms that intensity into a calm warmth that gently illuminates the surrounding worlds. The Sun's presence feels like a reassuring beacon, providing a rhythm that shapes day, night, and the quiet cycles of every planet. Its light spreads smoothly through space, becoming the soft thread that ties the entire system together. From the outer planets, the Sun appears as a small, bright star, still, steady, still comforting, a tiny warm heart in the cold expanse. The space between planets is remarkably stable, forming wide, calm regions where motion happens slowly and predictably. There are no sudden storms, no rushing winds, no violent disturbances, only the gradual movement of bodies drifting along their orbits. This stability gives the solar system a sense of deep rest, allowing each planet to travel peacefully without interference. Even debris and dust follow long, patient paths, moving in harmony with the gravitational curves around them. This calm environment creates a kind of spacious stillness, like a quiet hallway between distant rooms, where everything feels unhurried and gently arranged. The solar magnetic field wraps the entire solar system in a protective cocoon known as the heliosphere. This invisible shield stretches far beyond the outer planets, softening the impact of charged particles drifting in from interstellar space. The heliosphere acts like a warm, quiet bubble, cushioning the system in a gentle magnetic embrace. Inside this protective shell, cosmic rays are deflected, solar wind flows smoothly, and the planets remain sheltered within a calm, stable environment. This vast magnetic cocoon gives the solar system a sense of safety and comfort, as if the Sun holds all its worlds in a slow, steady hug. Sunspots are cooler regions on the Sun's surface, appearing as darker, softer patches compared to the surrounding brightness. Their lower temperature gives them a muted tone, more charcoal grey than harsh black, making them look like calm shadows resting on a glowing sea of light. Despite forming through strong magnetic activity, they give the Sun a textured, gentle appearance, tiny dimples on an otherwise radiant surface. When viewed from afar, these cooler spots create the impression of a breathing pattern, as if the Sun's brightness subtly rises and falls. They do not disrupt the Sun's warmth or its harmony. Instead, they add depth, quiet contrast, and a sense of softness to a star that otherwise burns with constant intensity. The solar corona forms a luminous halo around the Sun, glowing like delicate silver mist. It is made of thin, superheated plasma that spreads outward in soft, extended shapes, creating an ethereal crown visible during total solar eclipses. This light does not shine harshly. It diffuses in gentle arcs that resemble flowing veils. The corona stretches far into space, creating an atmosphere of quiet radiance that surrounds the sun with a dreamy, almost ghost-like shimmer. The soft silver appearance comes from how the plasma scatters sunlight, turning extreme heat into a calm, misty glow that feels peaceful rather than fierce. Light generated inside the sun takes tens of thousands of years to escape the dense layers of plasma that surround the core. A single photon begins its journey in a region so crowded that it can't move freely, bouncing endlessly in random directions. Each tiny movement takes it just a step closer to the surface. But the path is impossibly long and slow, like wandering through a maze that constantly shifts. Only after this ancient journey does the light finally reach the surface and stream into space at the speed of light. That sunlight touching Earth today began its story long before human civilization existed, carrying with it a sense of deep time and cosmic patience. Sunrise looks different on every planet, shaped by atmosphere, dust, distance from the sun, and the unique colors each world filters through its skies. On Earth, sunrise is warm and golden. On Mars, the horizon glows with pale blue light that slowly turns to pink. On Venus, light is softened through dense clouds, creating a deep orange haze. Even the gas giants experience subtle shifts as sunlight filters through thick, layered atmospheres. These differences give each sunrise a personality gentle, muted, or strange, and remind us that the solar system is filled with quiet variations of the same soft glow. Every world greets daylight in its own slow, tranquil way. The sun acts as the lighthouse of the solar system, guiding every orbit with its steady gravitational pull. Even though it shines brightly, its influence is gentle and consistent, ensuring that planets, moons, asteroids, and comets remain in stable paths. Its gravity does not tug suddenly or forcefully. Instead, it shapes motion with a calm, unwavering presence, like a quiet anchor holding everything in place. The sun's light reinforces this sense of order, marking days, seasons, and long cycles across every world. Without this central beacon, the solar system would scatter into chaos. But with it, everything moves in smooth, predictable harmony, creating a cosmic environment that feels peaceful and balanced. Each planet in the solar system carries its own quiet rhythm, shaped by its rotation, orbit, atmosphere, and distance from the sun. Yet all these rhythms join together without conflict. Mercury spins slowly and circles quickly. Venus turns backwards with unhurried grace. Earth keeps a steady pace, and the gas giants rotate with soft, sweeping speed. Despite their differences, every world moves in a way that fits naturally into the larger pattern, like instruments playing at their own tempo, yet blending into one peaceful harmony. Nothing collides or interrupts, and no world rushes another. Instead, each planet maintains its unique rhythm while sharing the same gravitational choreography. This gentle coexistence gives the solar system a sense of balance that is comforting and timeless, as though every world understands exactly how to move without disturbing the calm. The entire solar system moves like a slowly unfolding piece of music. Each planet, moon, and fragment following its part in a quiet cosmic symphony. There are no sudden crescendos, no abrupt changes in tempo, only steady, patient motion that continues across millions of years. Orbits stretch like long, smooth notes, while rotations add soft undertones to the background rhythm, comme contribute fin, drifting melodies as they glide inward and outward. And planetary alignments create gentle chords that last for days or weeks. The sun sits at the center like a warm, glowing conductor, guiding everything with silent gravitational gestures. This music has no beginning and no end. It simply flows, slow and soothing, through the deep calm of space. The orbits of planets are arranged so precisely that they never intersect or cross, allowing each world to move freely without fear of collision. These paths have remained separate and steady for billions of years, forming a set of invisible tracks that wind peacefully around the sun. Gravity keeps each planet exactly where it needs to be, holding them in gentle balance so that their journeys never interfere with one another. Even small variations remain slow and predictable, smoothing themselves out over time. This stability creates a sense of quiet safety, like watching dancers glide in perfect circles without ever touching. The separation of orbits allows the solar system to breathe, giving each world space to move in calm independence. The cycles that define the solar system: planetary orbits, solar rotations, comet returns, and long magnetic oscillations unfold on timescales so vast that they resemble the lifespan of stars. A year on Neptune stretches for more than a century on Earth, while Pluto's orbit takes longer than the entire history of modern civilization. Comets return only after generations have passed, and solar cycles repeat slowly enough to mark eras rather than years. These extended rhythms give the system a deeply patient character, as though it inhales and exhales in intervals far beyond human time. Everything moves at the pace of celestial life, steady and unhurried, echoing the long arc of stellar evolution. To look at the solar system is to watch the quiet breathing of space itself. The planets drift in wide, gentle loops. Dust glows softly in scattered sunlight. Comets glide along their long, slow paths, and the sun radiates warmth in a steady, calming pulse. Every motion, no matter how large, feels smooth, measured, and serene. From above, the entire system resembles a vast, delicate mechanism turning in silence, held together by gravity's soft guidance. Observing it gives the sense that space is not empty but alive with slow, peaceful movement. The solar system becomes a mirror for the universe's own calm rhythm, a reminder that even in the vastness of space, there is harmony, balance, and a deep, unbroken sense of rest. As we reach the end of this journey through the solar system, let everything you've heard settle gently into your mind. The way starlight settles across the quiet surfaces of distant worlds, the farther we traveled, the softer everything became. Even the most powerful forces revealed themselves as patient, calm rhythms unfolding in deep time. Every planet, every moon, every drifting shard of ice carried a story told, not with noise or urgency, but with silence and steady motion. In this stillness, there is comfort. In this distance, there is room to breathe. Think back to the warm center of it all, where the sun glows with quiet, unwavering light. It radiates in perfect silence, sending warmth outward like a steady heartbeat that holds the entire system together. Nothing rushes, Nothing competes. Everything simply moves in harmony, shaped by gravity's soft pull. There is something comforting in that balance, the way all the planets find their place, each following its own path without ever disturbing the others. A family of worlds moving together through the dark, each in its own rhythm, but all moving to the same gentle music. As you drift through the memory of these facts, imagine floating above this entire system. Picture the planets gliding along their wide orbits, smooth and unhurried, the asteroid belt shimmering like a faint ribbon of powdered light, the distant giants wrapped in layers of drifting clouds that roll like slow waves on a vast ocean of gas. Out near Pluto, everything softens into a quiet twilight where sunlight arrives like a dim silver whisper and time stretches into something peaceful and patient. The silence out there is not empty, it is soft, like a blanket laid gently across billions of kilometers. It holds comets that breathe icy trails as they move. It holds dust drifting like delicate fog. It holds moons dancing around giant planets in small, graceful arcs. Even energy itself moves in silence, gliding through the vacuum without a sound. The entire solar system rests in that quiet, wrapped in the sun's gentle magnetic cocoon, protected by the vast stillness of space. And you, listening now, are part of that same rhythm. The Earth you rest on moves through space with calm precision, turning slowly, orbiting smoothly, breathing in and out through tides shaped by the moon. Every sunrise, every nightfall, every season is part of the same peaceful choreography that governs all the worlds we explored. The solar system is not just a place of stunning science, it is a place of deep rest, a reminder that not everything needs to rush, not everything needs to demand attention. Some things simply exist in balance. Let yourself follow that rhythm now. Let your thoughts drift the way dust drifts in sunbeams. Let your breathing mimic the slow return of a comet on its long orbit. Let your body rest the way distant dwarf planets rest under their frozen skies. There is no need to think forward or backward. Just be here, floating gently in the quiet space between worlds. As your mind settles, imagine the view once more, the sun glowing softly at the center, the planets circling like lanterns moving in wide, perfect loops, tiny sparks of light flickering across the dark, all of it peaceful, patient, and calm, a universe not of chaos, but of quiet rhythm. And as you sink deeper into rest, let the solar system hold you the way it holds everything softly, steadily, without hurry. You are drifting through a cosmos that has carried life for billions of years. A cosmos that continues to turn with the gentlest of motions. Allow that calm to wrap around you now. Let your breath become slow. Let your thoughts soften. And let sleep come the way moonlight comes quietly, steadily, and with a kind of ancient reassurance. Rest well.